Good day, everyone. I am the ambassador for the group assigned to discuss food insecurity. Now, food insecurity is a big problem which affects up to 783 million people worldwide. And according to the USDA, it is a lack of consistent and equitable access to healthy, safe, and affordable foods. Now, food security is a socio-economic issue, which means that it is affected and caused by a lot of social and economic factors. Now, it is a complex problem, and we really need to understand the root causes of food insecurity for us to be able to solve its effects and the problems associated with food insecurity. So now we will study food insecurity. We will analyze it using a conflict analysis tree. Now, beginning with the effects of food insecurity at the branches of the tree, tumakitaan ang first effect is health crisis. Now, kung ang isang community or the society does not have enough access to healthy food, then they are at risk of malnutrition. No, dili sakto ang pagkaon nga ilahang makaon, they do not have access to healthy foods such as vegetables, fruits, other whole foods, no? Then dili enough ang nutrients nga ilang ma-acquire and they are at risk of chronic illnesses and adverse health outcomes. So dahan na day mga sakit-sakit, and this also increases the costs nga ilang ma-spend for hospitalization and medication, no? So in short, health crisis. The next effect is crime. Now, according to Aristotle, poverty is the parent of revolution and crime. No? So when people are hungry, they will do anything to feed themselves and their families. So dili na to nga ingon nga gina-justify na to ang crimes because of hunger, but of course, ang tao nga gutom maningkamot guna siya, no? Dili unsay ang himuon just to feed himself and their family. And dinaday na to makita ang increase in theft, robbery and murder in a society or in a community that does not have enough access to food. Third is social or civil unrest. Widespread food insecurity can create social civil unrest, which can result in political upheavals. No, dahan tag mga cases actually in history na mga revolutions natabo because the people did not have enough access to food. No, for example, ang French Revolution, the Russian Revolution of 1917. So basically, inhitabo ani is ang mga masa, no, or ang mga people in the lower classes or ang lower social strata, they did not have enough access to food. Samtang ang mga royals or katong mga nasa higher social classes is grabe ang ilang pag-waste sa food, no, or they did not really listen to those people who did not have enough food, no. So ang nahitabo nag uh, overthrow sa lower class people ang the people who are in power. So makita nato, no, nga if ang community gali gutom or ang society is wala sila enough food, then there is social or civil unrest gid nga mahitabo. Another effect of food insecurity is poor social progress. So when there is not enough food, maapektuhan ang workforce, no? Tungod kay gutom sila, tungod kay bisan pag na sila ma-earn nga money, wala sila mapalit nga pagkaon, then of course people will be unmotivated to work, no? So maapektuhan ang workforce, isa na po ni siya sa effects sa atong mention ganina nga health crisis, no? And thus the economy will face negative impacts. And another effect ani under poor social progress is ang mga children who do not have enough food may be forced to quit school to work, no. So dahan tag makita ani actually in cases for example sa TV nga naay mga bata nga muundang og eskwela just so they could work, no, or mutabang sa silang family business para lang makakaon sila. So this will lead to poor social progress, no, hinay ang economy, hinay ang improvements in science and technology because ang mga tao are more focused on finding food to eat, no, than on these other areas of improvement. And lastly, ang negative effect of food insecurity is low quality of life. Now, according to Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs na tong pyramid, ang physiological needs such as food is nasa at the very bottom, no. Thus, having no access to food will severely lower the quality of life for an individual, no, and in turn the society. So of course, wala kay pagkaon, very low gid ang imuhang quality of life, no. You will have no time to look to your other needs, no. So always good ang highest nga priority nimo is finding food. And if dira lang taman ang imuhang level of life, so that is a very low quality of life, no? Now we will study the causes of food insecurity at the roots of the tree, as well as their corresponding solutions na makita nato in the periphery of the conflict analysis tree. So the first cause that we will be studying is poverty and unemployment. So of course, when people do not have access to fair employment, nor wala sila pangita, wala sila means to provide for themselves, then they won't have enough money to spend on food, no? So uh, main problem here is the lack of work opportunities para earn og livelihood ang matao. Then of course, they will experience food insecurity tungod kay wala sila kwarta pang palit og food. Now, the corresponding solution to this would be improvements in economy and employment, no? So, if you give enough work to people, then they will have enough money to feed themselves. Next is corruption or poor governance, or pwede na to siya ma-term as mga poor government policies, no? Especially when the agricultural or food production sector does not get enough support, no? So for example, natay over reliance on importation, instead nga atong suportahan ang atong agricultural sector, go over rely ta on importation, which is why mo further weaken ang atohang agricultural sector. Now this in turn would mean nga unstable kaya ang atong food supply, since rely ra ta on other countries or other uh, mga communities bakaha for food, no? So dapat unta nga atong i-build ang atong food independence or self-sufficiency. Now the solution for this would be greater support for the agricultural sector, no? So we should urge the government to provide financial and technological support to empower the agricultural sector. Kaya of course, if we support the agricultural sector, mahimutang mas secure ang atohang food supply. The next problem that we will be looking at is disasters and emergencies. So pwede na nato siya ma-break down into two, no? First is ang natural disasters such as typhoons, floods, and droughts. And the second is ang man-made emergencies. So under sa natural disasters, no, natay typhoons, floods, and droughts nga pwede nila maapektuhan ang atong food supply by destroying, no, atong mga palayan or other sources of food, no? And the second is a man-made emergency, such as conflicts, for example, the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, or between Israel and Palestine. So naa siya negative impact on trade, no? So together, natural disasters and man-made emergencies can negatively impact the food supply chain as well as trade, no? So this can cause food insecurity. So unsa man ang possible nga solutions to this problem, no? It could be, one of the solutions could be disaster preparedness. So measures should be put in place to reduce the damage caused by natural disasters. So dili man nato totally ma-prevent nga mga natural disasters, but we should have systems in place to reduce their impact, no? And another solution is food sufficiency and independence. Again, it should be established nga dili lang ta nag-rely on trade and importation for our food needs, no? So a community or a society should be able to produce enough food to feed its constituents, no? Ideally. The next problem is overpopulation. So, ang overpopulation actually impacts food security in two ways, no? First is it increases the demand for food. Of course, when you have more people, then you have more mouths to feed, no? And the second impact is on land consumption. So, of course, more people, you need to have a greater amount of land to house those people, no? So natay a problem na dayon of agricultural lands being converted to subdivisions, for example, no? So the solution to that could be population control and management. So we could educate people on the effects of overpopulation and encourage them, no, nga dili ta mo contribute to overpopulation, of course. So natay population management or control on a societal scale, no? And lastly, another problem, no, contributing to food insecurity is geographical and technological constraints. So food insecurity may happen when the geography of a region creates challenges for food production. So an example of this actually is a comparison between the Philippines and Thailand and Vietnam. And ang Philippines does not produce enough rice, no? So one explanation actually is that the Philippines lacks major river deltas, unlike Thailand and Vietnam, no nga dahan sad river deltas dito, which is they can produce a lot of rice. No, the solution to this could be the proper use of technology and agricultural science, no. So the hantag technology actually nga wala pa nato nagamit in the Philippines. So the government could work towards introducing those technological advancements in the agricultural sector, no. Natay mga drought resistant rice varieties, for example, mga hydroponics farming technology. So we could work towards employing these, no, for better outcomes in the food production industry. So I think that's our report. Thank you for listening.